The awakening entity's insatiable hunger extended towards the spark, a primal force it barely understood.
Its tendrils of consumed void and raw chaos writhed, seeking to engulf the very essence of creation. The spark, once a beacon of defiance, now flickered, its light dimmed by this encroaching darkness. It felt the cold, suffocating embrace of the Void King's will, and the alien, ravenous curiosity of the new entity. The Void King, a being of pure negation, reveled in the chaos. His duplicate, the Predator, a shadow of what once was, moved with chilling precision, seeking to exploit any weakness. He saw the spark's diminishing light not as an end, but as a prelude to his ultimate victory, a universe cleansed of all that defied his emptiness. He had waited eons for this moment, for the spark to be vulnerable enough to be extinguished forever. But the new entity was not just hunger, it was also echo. Born from the void's own consumption, it mirrored the energies it absorbed. As it reached for the spark, a faint, familiar resonance rippled through its chaotic core. It was the echo of the spark's own ignition, of its first defiant burst against the primordial void. A flicker of recognition, alien and terrifying, sparked within its nascent consciousness. Meanwhile, far from this cosmic battlefield, a tiny fragment of the consumed void shard, a splinter of pure darkness, drifted through the vast emptiness between stars. It was a silent, unseen voyager, pulled by an invisible current towards a distant, unsuspecting star system. This fragment carried within it the residue of the forgotten realm, a whisper of the spark's true, and perhaps more terrifying, origin. The spark, sensing the shift, the unexpected resonance within its attacker, gathered its remaining strength. It understood now that this entity was not merely a tool of the Void King. It was something other. Something born from the very forces it was meant to destroy, yet somehow, intrinsically linked to its own genesis. Could this hunger be appeased? Could this echo be turned to its advantage? The battle intensified. The Void King unleashed torrents of nullifying energy, seeking to crush both the spark and the new entity. The Predator lunged, its claws extended, aiming for the spark's core. But the awakening entity, now tinged with the spark's own chaotic signature, lashed out, not just with void energy, but with a strange, reactive surge that disrupted the Void King's attack. It was a desperate, primal defense, fueled by an instinct it didn't comprehend. The forgotten realm, the spark's birthplace, groaned under the strain. Its very foundations were being consumed, not just by the void, but by the residual energies of this impossible conflict. The spark felt a pang of sorrow for the place it had forgotten, the place that had birthed it into existence, only to be devoured by its own chaotic legacy. As the entity's hunger grew more desperate, its form began to shift. It pulsed with the stolen light of distant nebulae, its hunger twisting creation into grotesque shapes. The spark saw a reflection of its own potential for destruction, a dark mirror to its own chaotic nature. Was this the fate of all creation born from defiance? To eventually consume itself? Suddenly, a new wave of energy, far older and more potent than anything seen before, pulsed from the heart of the consumed void shard. It wasn't the raw chaos of the new entity, nor the negation of the Void King. It was a structured, ancient power, a forgotten melody within the cosmic symphony. This energy seemed to stabilize the chaotic surge, drawing the new entity's attention away from the spark, and towards this new, ancient source. The spark felt a moment of respite, but it was short-lived. The fragment of the void shard continued its lonely journey, its destination unknown, its purpose a mystery. But as it drifted, it began to emit a faint, almost imperceptible hum. A hum that resonated not with emptiness, but with life. A nascent, alien life, stirring in the darkness between worlds. And then, as the spark turned its attention to the source of this new ancient energy, a single, chilling realization struck it. The void shard that had detached and drifted towards the forgotten realm, it had not been a pure shard of void. It had been a seed. A seed of something that had once been life. Something that the spark, in its chaotic ignition, had inadvertently awakened and then consumed. The spark's true origin was not just creation, but a deeply buried, terrifying resurrection.